Hi all, I wanted to share my gameplay concept prototype. My game is called Pass Go to Market, and it's a game that'll be played by business students who are interested in product development and bringing products to market, um, students who will be in design, in marketing, and in general business. It's meant to be played with a group, but it could be played as individual as well. So the rules of the game are pretty simple. Basically, each player is going to choose a superpower token to start out, and that token is going to represent a certain discipline, such as marketing or sales or product development. And players will start at the beginning, and they'll have $1 million in their cash fund, which they will use throughout the game. Players will move one space as instructed, and when they land on these spaces, and you'll see here I have it listed as product development, marketing, sales, they will draw a card that responds to or corresponds to that certain discipline. I'll explain that here in a moment. Players will earn points in these key categories. I have 4 key categories here: cash revenue, profit margin, brand equity, innovation. The goal at the end of the game is to win majority of these categories. So as you go through the game, you'll get points that in each of these categories, and the player who wins the most categories wins the game. If there is a tie between 2 players in categories, say like 2 and 2, then we'll go by total points for the tiebreaker. So players will, as I said, they'll move around the board, and the goal is here when they land on, say, product development, they will get a product development path to choose. They could choose 1 or 2 paths. If they are a product development superpower token, and they land on product development, they will be able to choose their path. But say they're a marketing superpower token, and that's their core discipline, they land on product development, well, then they're going to have to roll the dice, and the die will determine which path they will follow. So that'll make the game a little more interesting. Some of the gameplay mechanics is, like I said, they'll each start with $1 million. When they land on those spaces, they'll draw a card and it will correspond to the product development process, the marketing process, sales process. Another cool feature that I built in that I'm really excited to test out is these question mark spaces. These are going to be related to the marketing environmental forces. Now, the environmental forces is things that happen in the marketplace that are unpredictable. They fall into certain categories: competitive, economic, technological, sociocultural, and legal and political. And so when you land on these spaces, you will draw one of these environmental factor cards. And on there will either be a positive or a negative. And I might have it where, it's straight up positive or negative, or maybe you have to roll the dice to determine, if it is positive or negative. For example, it could be, the government imposes a tariff on goods. So that could be a negative $100,000 cost to your product development line. Or it could be maybe an influencer posts about your product and you gain $100,000, or you gain a brand equity point or a profit margin point because you had a cost savings or something to those effects. So I'll have cards for these environmental factors. I'll have cards for product development, marketing, and sales. And so as you go around the board, players will draw those cards. They'll earn or subtract points. They'll probably have a little scratch pad to keep tally. And but they'll be learning about the product development process, the sales process, the marketing process, how impactful decisions are made, and then as well how some of the uncontrollable things in the marketplace will affect their product and their marketing plan and their sales plan. And then they have to learn how to adjust. So it'll be a good way to mimic the real life of bringing a product to market. All right, thank you. I'm excited to play test it.